$49.99, you idiots. You ungrateful bastards.
You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs. This is Gandalf the Grey, and I am broadcasting to you live from deep inside enemy territory of Mordor. We are going to be spending some time together this evening, speaking of wrestling and not the One Ring to rule them all. Speaking of the One Ring, for all of you Lord of the Rings fans, you know what that is. One ring to rule them all. One ring to find them. One ring to bring them all. And in the darkness, fire them! This is the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast.
Nerds.
My name is Alec Ransom, and we're going to rock your socks tonight. Beef the Legend is coiled up and ready to fire. So am I, because stupid-ass Sasha Banks is back, and she is as overrated as Bret Hart ever was. So let's go ahead and jump right in.
Time.
Nope, you're stupid and dumb, and I hate you and the big dog.
Garbage
So
and I
let's
hate.
just go ahead and
that
kick
was
this off with
that was Sasha Banks.
let's go ahead and kick this off with the grand interrupter himself, Beef the Legend. Say hello.
Hello.
All right, great. Tiger Bomb Tom is also here. Tiger Bomb, go ahead and introduce your face to the faces.
Fuck it. I'm just gonna drink beer. Hi.
Yes,
Wow.
we have two drinkers, and I would be remiss if I didn't give a proper introduction. And here it goes.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alec Ransom, and I am the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, Poked the Bar! Yeah.
Ooh.
Cracking open a
is that
Steve Weiser.
trifecta?
Cracking
That's
open
a
a Steve Weiser
trifecta
here.
of beer
Thank
drinkers
you.
tonight.
Thank you to my advocate. That's kind of like a cross between Triple H and someone with Down syndrome. Anyway, so Triple H.
Oh,
anyway,
Can we get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah!
there you go.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so how are you? First of all, round of applause to Ransom on that intro. What a hell of an
that
intro.
was
That
fucking
great, man.
was good.
It was
That was
epic.
fucking great.
I felt it in my heart and soul, and I wanted to take a walk. Oh God.
I've been on a big Lord of the Rings kick here recently. The family has been indulging me watching Lord of the Rings. So
Ooh.
yeah, it's
Nice.
it's stuck in my head.
All
By
right.
the way, cracking open a second one. Here we go.
I'm starting into finally, even though the series is over, watching The Strain because my girlfriend wanted to watch it, and I love it, and I love her because
I haven't watched it, but I've heard very good things.
it's good. It's good.
Ooh,
I'm
God.
glad I have somebody. I'm glad I have somebody that enjoys creepy, scary things like Bray Wyatt and The Strain and everything like that. So
yeah, buddy.
yeah,
man.
buddy.
Yeah, that's a keeper. I've just been keeping busy, man. You know, just this past weekend was birthday palooza for the old wifey poo, so
The
we
wifey
saw some
poo.
animals and went to a local eatery and had some chow. So we had a good time. It's been a pretty solid weekend.
Well, you know,
Nice.
a big happy birthday to Brittany, and kudos to her because anybody that can put a ring on their finger and put up with beef the interrupter, man, that takes a strong person. Cheers to
Yeah,
Brittany.
you're telling me. You're telling me.
Say it, right? Ransom.
I love you, beef. I love you, man.
I don't know how. I think at this point I tolerate you out of love.
I mean, to be honest, and no offense to Tom at all, but I mean, the other two yahoos on this podcast, I probably spent more of my life with you two than my wife at this point. So, you guys have basically been married to me for, my God,
Oh, yeah.
fucking long.
Oh, yeah.
If anybody in
My
this
God,
world knows
Beef's
how
got two
difficult you
families.
are- if anybody in this world knows how difficult you are, it's Putin myself.
Oh God, yeah.
That is the truth.
Oh my
But
God.
anyway.
So listen, hey man, we have a lot of stuff to go over.
We do.
Before we get
It's gonna
into
be-
it, I have a fucking hot, like right now off the fucking presses. Buddy fucking Murphy just beat Daniel Bryan on SmackDown. Clean.
Whoa.
Whoa.
No.
Clean. Love it.
Sounds like they may
Look,
be giving that boy a nice little push.
This whole thing with Buddy Murphy getting this push was an accident, but It was.
It's a huge rub.
I don't
It's a
say it
huge
was.
rub.
I don't say it was an accident. I say it was serendipitous because Buddy Murphy, when you look at him and you see him work in the ring, he is all the money in the universe.
Well, you know what? Speaking of all the money in the universe, why don't we thank the sponsors real quick before we get too far into it?
Oh, you mean $0? They don't even give us the. They don't even give us the $49.99.
I got this. Everybody ready? Here we go.
Actually, go ahead, Ransom. I can
you don't keep
I
punching
can tell.
mother-
So we have some changes, but go ahead, Ransom. You do your thing, and I'll piggyback off it.
Ready?
There's
Watch this.
still-
Here we go. Everybody
Uh-oh.
ready? Strap in. Here it comes. Sean, are you ready? Here we go.
Oh,
We at the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast would like to thank. That's the one. Number 2. We'd like to thank Wrestle Deals on Facebook, your home for something. wrestling stuff. Your home for wrestling stuff. Hot deals? No. What is it?
violent deals
violent
and
deals.
bloody good
Violent
prices.
deals and bloody good. Listen, I've had a few. So, Sean, it's nothing. It's all my lack of professionality here seeping through. That's all it is. Violent deals and bloody good prices on the Facebooks. Check out the Wrestle Deals.
So actually,
Casual
that's
Gaming Dad,
bitch. I'll let you. Hey, man, I gotta live up to the name, the Great Interrupter. I'll let you thank old the DGD in a minute. We actually want to thank Sean Tischler because he is the kind of the driving force behind WrestleDeals.com, and he is actually so right now that is kind of on hold at the moment. So we are he is recommending us to send everybody towards the Facebook page for the IWC in Clearfield X, the 10-year anniversary for the show coming up in October. So that is going to be our current marketing ploy right now. So go check it out on Facebook. Again, that's IWC. That is in the, I believe it's, oh my goodness,
International Wrestling Cartel.
That's IWC Clearfield X. The X is for 10.
Also,
for the 10-year anniversary in Clearfield. Sean has tickets available. Check them out. Great prices, and you will see our schmucky faces there as well.
Would you say that violent deals and bloody good prices on the tickets?
Guys,
I would say that.
hot take here. Hot take. Over there on Tischler's Facebook page, he posted, he said, Clearfield X just got more exciting. I can't wait. So
That's
teasing
so it's
something.
going to be big.
He's,
It's going to be big.
Oh, I'm super hyped, and I can't wait
Yes.
to be there with you 3 dum-dums.
Yes.
So if you're one of the...
If you would like to thank the other sponsor, you may do so now.
Oh, let me do it.
I was biding my time and drinking the beer.
Let me do it.
Go for
I'm
it.
going to defer
All
to
right.
the champion.
All right, I would like to thank our other sponsor, Casual Gaming Dad himself, Mr. Tiger,
Uppercut.
Bomb Tom,
Yes.
over on Facebook. Casual Gaming Dad, absolutely awesome. The playthroughs he does are so much fun. You have a great community, by the way, in Casual Gaming Dad's corner.
Thank you.
And you've built quite a community. So go there, check him out. You can also check him out on YouTube. Search for Casual Gaming Dad. Was it 84?
Well, on YouTube, it's
No,
just
man,
casual
wait.
gaming. It's
Just
just
Casual
casual
Gaming
gaming
Dad.
dad. Yeah, but it's the black and white logo, which is my regular logo, and then it's the Casual Gaming Dad 84 on Twitch and Instagram. Yes,
And then you can always check him out. He live streams on Facebook very frequently as well. So go check him out. Give him a like. Give him a comment. And tell him the P3 podcast sent you. And he'll be like, oh, I sent me. Super.
Yeah. So by the way, real quick. So yes, I do stream. Well, when I do my streams, I'm streaming to all 3 simulcasting. So when I'm streaming, you'll catch me either on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. And I always tell people, make sure you're following all 3 because sometimes Facebook chat goes down or people have a hard time and like get kicked out of the chat or something like that because, well, it's not always the best of platforms. So you have a backup. You have 2 backups.
There you go. Perfect.
And I just found out today that the Gould Gaming website is back up. So that's finally good. So now you can go get some Casual Gaming Dad merchandise, that sweet ass NWO style shirt that I had on it during the live show. And that means that I actually just talked to my sponsor today.
Yes.
For our custom order. So I got to finalize the details with him So I should be doing that this weekend because he's currently out of town and like driving back to Memphis tomorrow morning, which is like the only time he's available to talk. And of course I'm working. So yeah, but I'm going to be talking to him this weekend. So
pretty excited. Hey, and
so
real quick
we may actually have those custom shirts of our own possibly for this next live podcast on the 31st. If not, we'll definitely by leaps and bounds we'll have them for October, so we'll be good.
Awesome.
Aces. Hey, and real quick before we get started, I'm gonna throw this out there. Our buddy, the madman of the podcast, on Twitter at Triforce Ransom has 0 followers. Let's change that, fans. I want somebody that is listening to us to go follow at Triforce Ransom, tweet at him, and send him a mention.
You'll get no twats from me.
We'll get you a special mention on the podcast. So let's give him some followers, eh?
Listen, I don't know why you're promoting that when you and the Bard himself both have Twitter accounts, not to mention the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast has a Twitter account, and none of those 3 stupid-ass Twitter accounts follow me. You're all the worst.
Yep, we're the worst.
Ooh, and I'm going to throw this out there. I will, if we get merchandise rolling through the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast, the first 3 people that are not the Bard, that are not the Legend, and that are not the stupid-ass podcast Twitters, the first 3, none of those people that follow me on Twitter, I will personally bankroll your own personal P3 podcast t-shirt.
Ooh.
Wow.
It's recorded on the podcast.
Making $1 million moves.
First 3 that follow me on the Twitters, as soon as our merchandise is up and running, whenever that day comes, it'll come. It might not be soon, but it'll come.
That's
3
what she
of you
said.
get a Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast t-shirt on me. Not on the podcast, on me. I will personally bankroll it.
And that's mighty generous of the Advocate. By the way, you have 1 follower.
Ooh.
Is that you, the Bard?
Aw.
It's of course. I have been a bad, neglectful champion to my Advocate. I needed to follow him. So right now,
this is exactly why I am the Advocate. Not for the reigning, defending, current, undisputed Cruiserweight champion of the world. I am the Advocate for Mr. Poot the Bard.
baby.
Championship or not.
Nice. I love it. Also, guys,
Look,
Tom, I need.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I need some Fast Count News music. Go.
Oh.
This is Fast Count News with Poot the Bard. Just breaking now. Watch the popular character Hellboy prepare for his in-ring debut.
Oh, no.
You heard me right. In All Japan Pro Wrestling on September 3rd, Hellboy will be teaming with Jake Lee and Koji Imawato against other words that someone just spilled alphabet soup. No,
I have no
honestly,
idea what any of that is, but if
No.
we've done F's and the D's here, that's sucking the
Indeed.
dicks for all you ignorant bastards.
I wasn't. I was telling you Hellboy, legit Hellboy is wrestling.
Yeah.
Who is that? He was in a movie one time. Played
He's
by
a
Ron
comic
Perlman.
book character.
Is Ron Perlman going to wrestle?
He's
Maybe.
a comic
Who
book
knows?
character.
He probably could, actually.
If it's not Ron Perlman, I don't.
It's not Ron Perlman, but
I have no interest.
it looks a lot like the comic book version of Hellboy. Anyway, so Buddy Murphy going over Daniel Bryan.
Wow.
What
You
a
said
yeah.
Clean
rub.
too, right? Clean.
Oh, wait. So
Clean.
isn't tonight also supposed to be, because we're recording right now during SmackDown, so
Yeah.
we'll all find this out. So apparently tonight is the night that we find out who done it. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
The fucking Roman
it's
Reigns is gonna pull the mask off and be like, "It was Old Man Winter."
If we can
it's
stop
looking pretty
right
schlocky.
here,
Like-
if we could stop right here for a second. I oh my gosh, I almost had it. Last night was the first night that I watched Raw in probably months,
Okay.
Oh,
and
congratulations.
within the first 5 minutes, I had a stroke. My face drooped. The clot went swiftly to my brain. I stroked out because within the first 5 minutes, not only did we get this stupid bullshit, who done it? Who's attacking Roman Reigns? I'll reveal who it is on SmackDown Live. We're back in the fucking Attitude Era. Here we go. It's freaking the late 90s, early 2000s all fucking over again. How stupid is it? And not only that, within the first 5 minutes, didn't I hear stupid-ass white-faced baby meat Michael Cole, "It's the beatdown!"
And you
I
also
vomited,
probably
shat and pissed my pants and had a stroke all at the same time. My body exploded.
My, what a terrible sight that would have been.
I was so mad. I ruined my couch. I was so mad.
Hey, you should call Zero Res for that.
I'm not watching Raw. Nope.
Well, I will say
Sasha Banks is back, because in Raw, not only am I going to hear fucking "It's the Big Dog," but I'm also now forced to hear "It's Boston."
I don't think you will.
So
I don't think you
won't,
will,
though, because she's a heel. Yeah, she's a heel. Like, Michael Cole's not going to pop for a heel. Corey Graves might say something, but Corey Graves hates her too. So so Raw actually last night was fairly tolerable, which is like the second tolerable one we've had in a month. So, it's definitely in the uptick, but it wasn't great.
It was garbage. Stupid Roman Reigns dumbass angle. Sasha Banks showing up with her stupid ass horse face. She has more of a horse face than Lillian Garcia ever did. I don't know how anybody could find that pile of shit attractive. So we had those two abortions, and then we also had the abortion of fucking Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman coming out of nowhere, winning the tag titles. Why?
That's not coming out of nowhere, man. That is recycled as recycled can be. Austin, Mick Foley, Mick Foley and The Rock, Cena and HBK, Cena and The Miz. Like, you don't have
talented teams that you could put a tag title on. You have to throw these two random schmucks together and throw freaking tag titles on them. You have talented teams out the wazoo that you could put the tag belts on.
Yeah, where is
Braun Strowman and Roman fucking Reigns?
Here's a question.
Seth Rollins. They're the same person.
Here's a question for you, and because I saw somebody that commented on the fact that on that very same fact of Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman winning, and somebody said, like, we and I'm gonna get your guys' take on it. We as wrestling fans will complain when there's nothing unexpected or whatever, and then that was very unexpected in a sense. And I mean, who would have thought they were actually gonna put the belts on Rollins and Strowman, and then we bitch about that. So my question to you guys is, are we bitching about it really? Is it people's perception that we're bitching about it just to bitch about it? Or, and here's my take on it, I bitch about it because while it's something unexpected, it just doesn't make sense when you have other teams like AOP and the Viking Raiders. Where the fuck are they at? Like, if they would have taken an actual tag team that we didn't necessarily expect was getting a push, or some new tag team coming up from NXT or something, and it was a quote unquote unexpected win, yeah, that's the kind of unexpected I want. I want it to make sense storyline wise.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, so here's the thing.
Explain to me why Seth and Braun. Why?
No problem. This is not unexpected at all. I saw it coming a mile away, and if you've been watching wrestling for a long time, like I have, you can see these things happening. Anytime that they have a face versus face meeting setting up, they need or like a brand new like feud that they're setting up, they need something to kind of start the fire there. So what do? They put two unlikely competitors up against like a dominant, and I know that they haven't been dominant, but I mean they were trending that way, champions, and they have them win the tag team titles. Like I said, they've done this before. They've done it over and fucking over. I think Austin and Taker were champions together.
Right,
like, they've done it
get
over
that.
and over and over again, and it's literally for an angle, because I will guarantee you, I would. I have nothing to put up, but I'll guarantee you that the OC get those belts back before Night of Champions, and either Rollins costs Braun or Braun costs Rollins, and it leads to this big fucking dust up, so that they have some sort of heat going into that match on Night of Champions.
I get that, but I mean, seriously, like, is WWE quote unquote creative not creative enough to fucking somehow work in, the Viking Raiders or AOP or anybody else? Fucking give me goddamn Hawkins and Ryder again. Fuck it, I don't care.
Speaking of tag teams, the Revival cleanly beat Heavy Machinery on SmackDown. So
good.
I'm okay with that.
I'm very okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
the Revival's getting a nice little push and quote unquote rub from Randy Orton. Although, like, it sounds weird to say that Randy
love
Orton,
that team.
I think they fit very well together. I like that little unholy alliance there.
I do as well. They're good. I hate to say this, when you put them right next to Randy Orton, they look like henchmen. Like they
do.
look like badass henchmen, but they look like henchmen. And that's not a bad thing, because Randy Orton needs to keep things fresh for him, or else he'll get boring. He always does. But back
at
to
one point, at one point, Edge was a henchman. Let's remember that.
I know that's true. After, now going back to the Braun Seth thing, I'm gonna put this out there because I've had this thought kind of ruminating in my head. We talked about, like, with the Fiend, you know, we were like, how quickly is this going to go down the tubes? You know, we're like, what are they going to do with him a year down the road? What are we going to do this? By the way, I can't wait for that steak dinner in a year. Ransom.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing. We're thinking right now, yes, it sucks that the club lost the belts. It does. However, don't think about it right now. It's like, oh, they're burying the club. We're so conditioned to think that WWE is just going to bury the club for no reason whatsoever. And in the past, they've proven that they've misused them. But I think this time, this belt change is as Beef was alluding to, is serving a greater purpose down the road. We need to not. We need to see. No. Don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt my train of thought.
Go ahead, Pooh. Sorry.
Thank you. You have to see the forest through the trees. I'm willing to start looking ahead a little bit. Instead of looking at my feet and running into a wall, I'm looking a little bit in front of my feet so I can go, oh, there's something that I might run into. I better move. Like, just look down the road a little bit. It could serve a purpose, and I have no doubt in my mind that those belts are going to come back around to the club.
I mean, I imagine that they would. I just, it's kind of a fine line to walk, because not long, probably even just on the last podcast, or even on the live show, in between the live show and now, we've also said that we needed to not think so far ahead and not look so much big picture and appreciate what's right in front of us. Well, what was right in front of us was, well, they fucking took the belts off the club. But I get what you're saying. I do. And so I hope that they don't get cold feet on whatever they're doing, and, don't pull the rug out from underneath the club. I really hope that they, I really hope that they continue to book them strong and everything, because that is a really great faction. And I know,
I agree.
I know historically Vince isn't the greatest fan of factions. It's been quote unquote well documented before, but that's the thing. You got to have, like, traditionally a faction is supposed to be set up where you have one person who's kind of the standout person, or, like, okay, let's say for Undisputed Era, Adam Cole's the standout person. The faction's going to raise the level of everybody else, but it's also still going to propel that one person to the top. Or in the case of when you had Evolution, like how they said, you had, the old guard in Flair, you kind of had the old / current guard in Triple H, and you had the new stars that they were going to build up in Orton and Batista. That faction served its purpose as well. Look at the Shield. The Shield propelled Rollins to, main event status, and Roman Reigns, and to a degree, Dean a little bit. But that was a rare case where you had all three members who could, really all be pushed if given the opportunity. And now we see, where that's all come now after the fact. But instead of harking on what's been shitty about Raw, I want to just go ahead and just gush over the Fiend a little bit more, because my God, that was awesome.
Oh, at the way they did. I love the fact that they introduced this new idea with Jerry Lawler going. He heard that first, like, the lights go down and that first noise. He was like, nope, I'm out of here. Like,
he's like, I'll do it. Go, nope.
Wrestlers don't do that. They always stand in the ring and they go like, what? Where? Who? Or they get ready for a fight. No one ever just goes, nope, I'm going to use logic and leave.
Yeah, exactly. I fucking love that. That was so well done. Kudos to the King for that. That was great. Ransom, did you get to see that or no?
I did not.
Oh, go back and watch the highlight if you get a chance to.
Oh yeah,
that's probably the best thing. was probably the best thing that Jerry Lawler has done in over 15 years. After so when JR and the King were together, I think that they had lightning in a bottle, because I think it's going to be shown that JR isn't as strong as we all remember him. And God knows we know that the King, flopping around without JR the last, fucking 7 years of his career or whatever, was just a trope machine over and over, the same shit. And it was more the same last night. And I was so cringy, and I was like, oh my God, I can't listen to Lawler for 3 hours. So that whole spiel last night was perfect, and I think Lawler was a great fall guy because people like the King, but
they also like to see the King get beat up.
But they were also getting yowie wowie afterwards, which was fucking great.
And that's the thing, is that I love this intermittent, small, quick appear. It really does lead you into the thought process of, you never know what part of the show, if he's going to show up on the show, the Fiend shows up. The one thing I'd like to see down the road is a little more involvement of Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would too. And I thought it was really well played how, what was it, last week, after SummerSlam, we didn't get the Fiend right afterwards. We got the little, Firefly Funhouse advertisement on SmackDown with the collector's box stuff. And he's like, stickers! And it was just so schlocky. And so I loved it. And then now, the next week, you get the fucking Fiend.
I want one of those box sets so bad. I wish they would just make them.
I know. And the only way you're going to find it now is if you shell out $200 or $300 on fucking eBay. So good luck there, buddy. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I think that the Fiend bit might get old at some point if to Pooch's point, they don't start capitalizing on more of the Bray Wyatt, Firefly Funhouse guy. I don't necessarily need vignettes. I want to see Bray in the ring not being the Fiend. I want to see him, like the Fiend did at SummerSlam, wrestle with that, inner what have you, the inner demon, if you will. I want to see him wrestle with that, only to be, nice guy Bray. If Bray Wyatt has to eat a pin or two, that's fine. Bray Wyatt can eat a pin or two. I don't want the Fiend losing. So I'm a Balor guy, and I'm a Demon Balor guy. And initially I thought that this was probably heading towards Fiend versus Demon at the Survivor Series, with the Demon getting the win. I'm not so sure that needs to happen now, because the way that the Fiend is being received, as hot as he is, and he is, make no mistake about it, the most talked about thing going on in wrestling right now.
Oh, absolutely.
And that is a shot across the board to all companies. The Fiend is the guy that's being talked about right now.
Oh, yeah.
So
well. To be fair, hold on. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't feel like doing it.
All right. Oh man, Beer Tom's a buzzkill. Ironic.
No. I was gonna say. To be fair, you forgot about the fucking white hot lightning in a bottle signing that AEW has now. Tony Schiavone.
That's fair. But Bray, the way that he's being received, I could see them honestly doing a championship run with him. As weird as that would be, even Renee last night was like, who's gonna stop the Fiend?
Right.
And that just made me go, there's no one on the roster right now that I think
it's gonna be Demon Balor.
It's too soon. Not now. Unless they're doing it Mania. Unless they're doing it for Mania.
Oh, it'll be
and
Mania.
And Aleister Black would also be an acceptable answer.
And they teased that on Twitter.
They did.
Honestly, I want to see him run with this. I don't want to see the Fiend lose for a good long time. And when he loses, I want it to be the Brock Lesnar effect, where he loses and you go, this guy's fucking arrived.
Well, here's another thing that's been put out there too, and I'd be perfectly okay with this. And I know I think you know where I'm going with this, Beef. So I think it was brought up in PWP on Facebook, where somebody said something about possibly the Undertaker could be, his last match could possibly be against The Fiend at Mania, and how great it would be to have somebody that could play the mind games back against Taker and have Taker actually show some fear, like thus passing the torch to the new phenomenon of the WWE. That would be, I'm okay with that.
That makes more sense to me, having Taker have, in the latter part of this year, one last run, and have Taker go out last match to The Fiend at Mania. That makes a hell of a lot more sense to me than having the Demon Balor beat The Fiend at Mania. Because my rationale behind that is that, everybody knows, stupid ass WrestleMania, that is the showcase of immortals. That's the biggest event of the year. That's the Super Bowl of wrestling. Why, at that point, do you have The Fiend lose? At the biggest show, that's where you're going to have The Fiend lose? Why?
Because he's technically a heel. And
Nope, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if he's a heel or not. He's your biggest character. He's your next phenom. Yep. He's the guy that could make your company be talked about for the next decade.
I agree.
So you're saying
he's the next Taker. Why on the first? I'm not about him, having a streak at Mania. No, not about that. No. I'm not saying that he needs to, be the new Undertaker, have an undefeated streak at Mania. I'm just saying this is his first year in as The Fiend. Why pull the rug out from under him at Mania and have him lose at Mania?
Oh, no,
that doesn't make sense to me.
Like and that's exactly what I'm saying, man. Like I'm a Balor guy. I'm a Balor guy. I love to see Balor win. I love to see the Demon. And at first I was like, oh yeah, that's a great little thing that would happen. But now that we've seen The Fiend and now that we understand the phenomenon, I want that to be as far off the radar as possible. I want Balor to come back and be a bad guy and use the Demon as like a bad guy vehicle with the club. And I want to see The Fiend do his own thing. And if they clash in the future, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, great. We can use this little incident as fuel to the fire.
Oh,
but
fine.
For God's sakes, we need to keep The Fiend rolling right now because you are 100% right, Ransom. He is the heater. And if you're hoping to be talked about over AEW right now, and that is their goal, he's the guy that you're going to want to run on it.
Yep.
And here's what I'm okay with seeing, too. I'm okay if they... you know what? I would actually really love this idea. And this might just be me and my stupid sense of wrestling. I don't know. But Brock Lesnar has been champion how many times and has showed up on 5 pay-per-views a year?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't wrestle on Raw. Maybe he shows up. Paul Heyman talks a little bit. Brock Lesnar stands there looking freaking jacked above the waist and then chicken leg down below. Standing there with that stupid-ass smile on his face. Dumb smirk Lesnar, whatever. I would love to see an angle where The Fiend wins the title, and if Bray Wyatt shows up in a Firefly Funhouse or if Bray Wyatt shows up live on a Raw, Bray Wyatt doesn't come out with the title. Bray Wyatt's not the champion. The Fiend is the champion.
Oh,
so you don't see The Fiend having the belt. And you don't see Bray Wyatt at the same time having the belt.
Well,
you try to separate those two characters by only having The Fiend appear with the belt, not Bray Wyatt. And you can say to yourself, well, what? He's not just showing up on Raw, or if Bray Wyatt wrestles in like the sweater or whatever, Bray Wyatt's not coming out with the belt. Blah blah blah. Brock Lesnar didn't wrestle a fucking Raw or SmackDown when he had that stupid ass title. He wrestled 5 pay-per-views a year. Give The Fiend the title, not Bray Wyatt.
Could you guys see non-Fiend Bray Wyatt coming out wrestling in the Muscle Man outfit?
Oh, that'd be great.
Wouldn't that be money?
Yes.
So here's the other thing about The Fiend. You know what? And I'm going to parlay this, if you guys don't mind, into my swan song. I know it's a swan song supposed to be at the end, but it's my positive to offset the legendary letdown and such. You mind?
Right. Go
ahead, man.
All right. So the thing about The Fiend that is awesome is that it's compelling. It draws you in. You want to watch if for no other reason than to see what the actual fuck Bray Wyatt's going to do and what the Fiend is going to do. Who's he going to attack? For what reason? Are we going to get a Firefly Funhouse? It's compelling, and that is the thing that has been missing from WWE TV, and I understand that Beef could argue this with me, and I might be forgetting things. In my opinion, it's the first thing that's been compelling since CM Punk's pipe bomb forward. It is like something that makes me go, okay, I try to get to bed at a reasonable hour because I wake up at Dawn's, the ass crack of Dawn's ass crack for work, but it makes me want to stay up and watch all of Raw and all of SmackDown. It makes me want to do it because I want to see what they're going to do with this. Do it. And I want to see what they're going to do. And that is the thing that has been missing. And the reason, in my opinion, why it is so compelling is because, as rumor has it, in the news sites and from backstage sources and stuff, Bray Wyatt has creative control over the Firefly Funhouse gimmick, the Fiend gimmick, the whole shebang. He has the word and the say. And you've seen other guys on the roster. The one that comes to mind is Braun Strowman comes out and says and praises Bray Wyatt on how awesome it is to have him back in the locker room, how much of a genius he is. You heard the guys that he collaborated with. I can't remember the name of the studio, but the ones who made the Fiend mask, the same guys who do the work for Slipknot.
Is it Tommy Savini or something?
Tom Savini. Tom
Yeah.
Savini. Tom Savini in his studio. They talk about how brilliant Bray Wyatt is to work with and his ideas. And that's the thing. This is not only compelling and making at least me want to watch, but it's also a proof of concept that if you give the right talent and tailor the gimmicks to the talent in the sense of how much creative control you give them, a guy like Bray Wyatt, you can let him run with it, and he will do amazing things. I believe, honestly, a guy like Matt Hardy, you could do that with. You could let him run with his creative ideas, and it would be brilliant. There are some people that might be like, oh, I have my ideas, but I like to collaborate with people. And then there are some people like Ronda Rousey who do better when people just hand her things and say, here's what you need to do. And she makes it work. So, like, this is proof of concept that giving the right people and the right talent creative control can be not only beneficial to the character's development, but beneficial to the overall product and increase ratings and increase money. I've bought 2 Bray Wyatt shirts. I'm planning on buying more of his shit. Like, I mean, like, I'll throw money at that stuff. You know, this is because, in my opinion, it's amazing and it's brilliant. So if this is the litmus test for giving certain talents creative control over what they're doing, and it's working and making the company money, maybe we will see that as a continuing idea, and we'll see the product become better, and we'll see it become more interesting overall. That's my swan song.
I'll tell you what.
That's well said, Pooh, by the way. Good.
Well said.
Well said.
Well said, and I feel this is a perfect segue. Speaking of everything that's compelling and hoping that they stay on course and doing things that are working and doing them right. Let's talk a little bit. My man. I think you're going exactly where I was going. Go ahead, man. I think you're thinking what I'm thinking. NXT.
Oh, I think I know what you're thinking. What he's thinking that you're thinking that he's thinking, right, Ransom?
Oh, Jesus!
I don't know anymore.
Christ. Shut up and drink a beer while I talk. Anyways, now, so yeah, NXT is confirmed that it's going to be live on USA Wednesday nights, and it's going to be. Is it the exact same time slot as AEW? 8 to 10.
It is 8 to 10.
Okay. So 8 to 10.
So they're saying live, but I don't think that word means what they think it means because I think that they're still doing tapings.
Well, here's the one big thing, and I'm gonna say this real quick, and then I'm gonna excuse myself to grab a beer and mute my microphone. So, My whole thing, when I heard about this at first, I took and I pulled the beef where I was very knee-jerk reactionary, and I said, well, fuck it. Vince is going to get a hold of it with his slimy old shriveled up grapefruits, and it's going to die. And supposedly, but time will tell, supposedly he's going to kind of stay out of it, and he's going to handle, as far as it's being, murmured about, that Vince is going to handle as far as like the head-to-head stuff, and excuse me, and Triple H is going to keep doing what he's doing with NXT. Because here's the thing, and this was brought up by one Mr. Bully Ray on the Busted Open podcast, and I completely concur with this. The fans that like AEW are the same fans that would like NXT, more like your indie fans, your ROH fans, and stuff like that. If they muddle up NXT and try to make it a glorified Raw or SmackDown, it's not going to work, and people are going to say, nope, fuck this, and they're going to tune into AEW, and then they'll just say, if I catch NXT, I'll catch NXT. If not, it's just, whatever, a third-rate Raw or SmackDown. However, if they keep the course of what they're doing and keep giving us the same great NXT stuff that they're giving us, where we're always talking about how the takeovers outshine, the main roster pay-per-views, then I think you're going to have a very interesting situation on your hands with NXT and AEW both going head to head at the same time slot. Because NXT is still going to be available on the network the following day. So one way or another, somehow on Wednesday nights, if you're a wrestling fan, you're going to be watching one and DVRing the other. So the question is, which one do you choose? Do you maybe go back and forth depending on, what the schedule is that week? I mean, it's, so my whole thing is I'm hopeful that Vince will allow Triple H to keep doing what he's doing, because whatever Triple H is doing down with NXT, it's working. Stay the course on that, because it's good. Do not try to make it another like glorified Raw or SmackDown. That's my thing.
Well, that gives.
If I can get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, go
here.
ahead.
Go ahead, Ransom.
Go ahead, and I'm gonna go get a beer.
I think regardless of what the official statement or the rumors say about Vince McMahon's involvement, I don't know if I'm right or not, but there has clearly been a pattern throughout the tenure of Vince McMahon in professional wrestling where he wants to squash the competition every single time. You really can't argue it, because it's fact. Back in the territory days, he squashed each and every one of those little territories and ended up buying them out. That's how WWE became a worldwide company. During the Monday Night Wars, he wanted to squash Vince McMahon or Ted Turner in WCW, and he did. And he bought out Ted Turner, WCW, CNN, AOL, whoever, and he ended up owning WCW. Regardless of what he says or what they say, I don't think that Vince McMahon, with whatever it is, the ego, the power trip, the desire to be the best, the desire to be the top, I don't know. I don't think he'll be able to stay away from NXT, because NXT is going to be the only show going head-to-head, mano-a-mano, with another promotion that is actually worth a damn. So I don't think he'll be able to keep his hands out of it. I don't think he will. I think you'll see more and more Vince McMahon input. I think you'll see Triple H write NXT, and then just like Raw and SmackDown, I am willing to bet that Vince McMahon will come in and make last-minute changes. Whether or not he rewrites the whole damn thing, I don't know, but I'm willing to bet he makes changes. And I just want to share this real quick before we get on to something else. Chris Jericho had some thoughts.
I have something after you're done there, Ransom, too.
No, we all got to kick in on
it. I'm sorry, it's one other small point, and I promise it's a quick one after Ransom's done.
Chris Jericho had some words about the NXT announcement that they were going head-to-head with AEW. This is a Chris Jericho quote. "We still don't know who our fan base is. I don't think there is a lot of crossover between WWE fans and AEW fans. I think a lot of people that are into AEW haven't watched in a while or are looking for something different. Maybe they don't like WWE. I think WWE is great, but the point is there's too much WWE as it is. By adding another 2 hours, it really dilutes the product, their mindset, and their focus. It's a reactionary move by a guy that wants to start a war, but we don't care if you want to start a war. That was never our intention. There's no war for us. We're just doing what we're doing. Some people don't like that and react to that, but it just dilutes their own product. If you remember in the 90s, Nitro would start at 7:57 and Raw started at 8. The reason we got 3 minutes early was because we wanted our pyro 3 minutes earlier than theirs. Who gives a crap? Who cares what the pyro is? What's the show like? Don't worry about what the other guy is doing. Worry about your own stuff. I don't care about any other wrestling company in the world. I have a feeling, maybe aside from Cody, because Cody does seem to make things personal. He does seem to make it into a we're gonna outshine you, or wherever it is. I think he's got his own personal grudges and battles to fight.
I think
as a whole, AEW is flying their own flag, is sailing their own ship, and WWE is going to try to turn this into some sort of war, and in doing so, they're only going to negatively affect their own product. They're not going to pull viewers away from AEW.
Well, I think also with the advent of this, there's something I want you guys to think about, and it's a separate discussion. Are they going to keep NXT at Full Sail where it works really well in that environment, or are they going to move it? That's question.
What they've announced, that they're keeping NXT at Full Sail and just doing tapings.
Okay, good.
So here's the thing, Rantham.
That was a little tag. Look.
Okay.
Calm down, you. I'll come. I'll drive all the way down there tonight just to kick you in the shin. Sweet shin music.
Beef hasn't had a chance to interject here for a little bit. Let's have Beef weigh in on this real quick.
I'll take my advocate's advice. That's why he's my advocate.
Thanks, Ransom. Got your back, my boy.
Anything for you,
here's
baby.
Here's the thing with Vince McMahon. We give him all the shit in the world because he makes some pretty crazy decisions. Vince McMahon is I guess Beef the Legend is the Vince McMahon of the P3 podcast. Very knee-jerky. So, here's the thing that we don't factor in with Vince McMahon is that he is a smart businessman. You mentioned it yourself, Rantham. He bought up the territories. He bought up WCW. The man knows business. He may not have a great and sharp wrestling mind, and honestly, he may have never had it. It was his supporting cast. But he's a smart businessman, and he knows, Vince McMahon knows that the eyes that are watching AEW on Wednesday nights are not the eyes that are watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. I mean, they probably are because they're probably hardcore wrestling fans like us. But for the most part, he knows that they're also the ones that enjoy the NXT product as it is. And that if he changes the NXT product that's out there right now, that it's going to make the people who want to watch AEW or want to watch NXT or want to have that kind of competitive battle, it's going to make them go, oh, easy choice. And I think Tom mentioned this. Easy choice. You're diluting NXT. You're making it another Raw or SmackDown. I'm not into that. I want to watch AEW because it's fresh product. NXT is great because it's fresh product. It's new. It's something fantastic, and it's something that wrestling fans, at least mainstream wrestling fans, haven't seen in a long time. So Vince is a smart businessman. I think, like Tom mentioned, I think he'll keep on the business aspects of it. But I think that he'll let Triple H continue having his creative control because he knows that that's what the fans that want to watch AEW are going to want to see.
Well, here's my thing. I hope you're right. I hope he doesn't do anything too crazy, number one. Number two, the big thing that's going to tell whether or not Vince is going to get involved and whether or not NXT is going to potentially go down the shitter right away is if you start seeing main roster guys like Reigns or whoever like that showing up on NXT, then we know we're in trouble. Okay, that's number two. I'll let you contrary that in a second. But number three, to go off of Jericho's quote when he said we were never looking for a war, I think his past statements had also alluded otherwise because I believe him and Dustin both said, "Hey, it's a war. We're ready for it." Now, regardless, I know AEW's whole big motto on a whole is we're an alternative. We're not trying to compete. I get that. But Jericho and and Dustin in both. If I'm not mistaken, Beef may have to fact check me on this. Was that, they said like, hey, it's a war, whether they want it or not. So I don't know, Jericho. I mean, it's, we'll see.
I think that if when it comes to the topic of main roster, I don't think it would be a bad thing to have some select main roster people show up, i.e. a Dolph Ziggler, i.e. Maybe former NXT alumni, maybe for a one-off have Kevin Owens come down there, maybe have Sasha Banks or the Man. I'll
give you the NXT alumni for a one-off, like you just mentioned 3 in a row there. NXT, Sasha, Kevin Owens.
Every once in a while.
Maybe. But or guys that they're not doing anything with. Like they weren't doing anything with Tyler Breeze and Fandango. They put them back down in there.
I'm thrilled.
That is fine. But what I'm saying is guys that are established on the main roster who have a constant main event spot or top tier spot, I think you can't muddle that back down into NXT because NXT is built off of the grittiness of those quote unquote up and comers and the quote unquote veterans that have been world traveled, like, say like somebody like Adam Cole or whoever, or Aleister Black even. Like, that's the thing is if you start putting people who weren't NXT alums or don't have that, I'm going to say for lack of better terms, that quote unquote indie feel. Like if you put in, I don't know. I know Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns were both NXT, homegrown boys, but bringing Roman Reigns back to NXT, I think would have a way different feel, even for a one-off. It would have a way different feel than, say, if Seth Rollins came back. Could you agree to that?
Yes, because people don't associate Roman Reigns with NXT.
Exactly, and that's
either of them. Really. I mean, Seth Rollins was there for a cup of coffee.
No, Seth a
was
little
the
bit
first
more so.
NXT champ.
Exactly, Seth was the first NXT champ, so he's kind of always got that little bit of a segue back in, and he still has that kind of, I guess, like I said, for lack of better terms, he has a little bit of that quote unquote indie feel, like him, Owens, Sami Zayn. They have that NXT grittiness where Roman Reigns is more of your like polished golden boy feel. So again, that's my thing is don't take away from the talent that you could be pushing and giving opportunities to in NXT by bringing it in and muddling it up with quote unquote main roster big time talent or whatever. Like, that's my big thing.
It's going to happen. I guaranteed it's going to happen. The first televised one, you're going to see.
I don't think it will.
Oh my goodness! I'll put money down on it. I'll put money down on it.
Not Reigns and Cena, but you may see Balor or Shinsuke or NXT, like guys like Poot said that are NXT alums who belong there.
I'll put money down that Randy Orton shows up.
No, there's no chance.
Way. You laugh about that.
How much you willing to put down on that for the debut? Because there's no chance Randy Orton shows up.
Okay.
All right. So with the debut, I'm gonna make Beef pop here, and this is like complete fantasy booking. You ready for this? First episode of NXT. You want names? You want someone who's going to really steal the show and make it noteworthy and make people want to tune in away from AEW. You ready for this, Beef?
Let's see it.
Enzo and Kaz XL.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm down. I'd be okay with that.
No, and that's why I said I was going to make you pop. Because
listen, here's the thing, man. And Tom, you can boo all you want, but Cass,
I will. Boo.
Even to an extent, Enzo have turned it around. They have turned around their shitty reputations. They've turned around what they were doing wrong, and they're now busting their ass on the indies to make it work. They realize that they are not singles competitors. They realize that they are a commodity together, that they were hot together, And so I'm 100% hoping that they come back, and I would love to see them back in NXT.
Kaz is looking healthy too, man.
Hey, good for I did read that article that you had shared, and good for them that they're doing that. But they still haven't necessarily finished redeeming themselves in my eyes. So they got a little bit of work to go. I'm glad they're putting in the work now. That's great. But that to make a comparison, that's just like when people got all excited when the Pirates started doing good again here in Pittsburgh. I'm like, nah, until you actually, like win a pennant, don't come talk to me yet, because you got 2 decades worth of bullshit to make up for. They got a lot of wrongs to right before they're finished being redeemed in my eyes. So I'm just saying they got a little bit more work to go. Good on them for what they're doing now, but I'm not going to get a big wrestling boner for them yet.
Well, and I think, so I don't want to see them do anything different for the debut of NXT on September the 18th. I want to see them continue what they're doing now with the Undisputed Era, with Adam Cole, with Gargano. You know what?
You know what I want to see?
I want to see. I want to see Matt Riddle. I want to see Matt Riddle Unchained, because it's very clear that they are letting him do what he does, post videos, post tweets and stuff. I want to see him go at AEW and just start fucking calling people out by name. I want to see Riddle do Riddle. That's what I'm excited about.
Beef, you probably know this a little bit better. I don't know, Ransom or Poot, if you guys got to watch NXT last week or not. Did either one of you?
Yes.
No.
The review show?
Yeah. Okay, so to bring Ransom up to speed, so we talked about it actually last week a little bit, like where, or even during the live podcast, and I can't remember because now my days blur together because it's been a busy fucking whirlwind, but we did say something about how we could see, or I mentioned that I could see the NXT tag titles changing hands on like a regular weekly NXT show, either before or after War Games. I think you may see that now, because on the review show last week, they showed something about footage from the TakeOver match, and they were saying that technically, I can't remember who was who. I can't remember who was actually in the ring. I think O'Reilly was in the ring, and he got Irish whipped against the ropes and hit Bobby Fish, but Bobby Fish had technically tagged him, and when the Street Profits ended up pinning O'Reilly, technically the Street Profits did not pin the legal man. So that now brings the case that Undisputed Era could argue to Regal, hey, we deserve a rematch, and there you go. NXT tag titles changing hands. Hopefully, maybe we could get it on the debut, on the live debut. You never know.
Good point.
Yes, sir.
Or they could save it for the debut of AEW on October, I think the 4th, right? They can save it for that. The 2nd, thank you. They can save it for that night. That way, you are sure to be turning in on it. Because I guarantee. So I don't think they're going to make a big deal about the debut, but I get the feeling that on October 2nd they're going to put together something.
Hey guys, real quick interjection. I'm sorry. Request for hot tag trivia. I want to ask Beef.
I'm fine with it.
I wanted Beef.
Ooh, I'd say let Ransom have him, because
I haven't had Beef in a while.
That sounds gross, but yeah,
How
you're
you
right.
doing?
All right, either one of you guys are digging your own grave then.
Yeah. But I will say this: I don't disagree with you that they won't do something special for the 2nd. Maybe that's when the North American title will change hands. Who knows? But I will say this. And again, to piggyback off of Bully Ray, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. So NXT's supposed to start debut. Did they announce a debut, an actual date yet for the live stuff?
September the 18th, I believe.
Okay, here's the thing. So notice, here's one of the things, and this actually also gives a little bit of a credit back to Beef and his statement about McMahon being a smart businessman. McMahon's not waiting, and this whole Wednesday Night War thing is, you know what? I'm going to call this the Tiger Bomb truth bomb. McMahon doing this is a chess move. He's moving a piece ahead of AEW, because he's getting NXT on Wednesdays a while before AEW starts, because he's going to start programming the fans to want to watch AEW on Wednesday nights. And I think a really good way to do that would be to have a big title change, or a title change at all on the debut show. So I honestly think you'll get a title match, possible title change on the debut of NXT on Wednesday nights. And who knows, you may get another one come October the 2nd. Who knows? Or at the very least, you'll get a title match. I'm going to say that those are both reasonably, reasonable things that you could look forward to. That's just my opinion.
Here's a question, a topic I want to throw out, and I want to hear from Ransom because everybody knows that Ransom's a madman, but he also is pretty morally equal as far as what he thinks. I tend to be more of a sleazebag kind of guy, believe it or not. So I'm very interested to hear all you guys, especially Ransom on this one. So thanks, I appreciate that, man. So NXT debuting on Wednesday nights. Is that, well, I guess not debuting because that's the time slot they've had, but moving to USA, my goodness, USA.
Oh, my.
Not
you
USA,
having all the beers, huh?
I know, right? Moving to USA.
How many have you had? 1.5?
Exactly. Hey, you guys. Hey, the viewers, all three of them from the live broadcast know that I cannot handle the beer, so that's off the table.
This is true.
Anyway, so the moving NXT to cable TV up against the burgeoning AEW debut. Is that a low blow by Vince McMahon, or is that just a man doing business?
I want to go last on this one because I'm going to go grab another beer. Wasn't going to have one. Gonna need it for this.
Well,
what you got, Ransom?
Yeah, what do you got, Ransom?
I'm going to say yes. Because it again harkens back to Vince McMahon's ego. He wants to be the man. He wants to be the winner. He wants to be top dog, not big dog, please. He wants to be top dog. He wants to be able to be the guy. He wants to be able to be the guy that can say, nobody can touch me. WCW didn't. TNA couldn't. All these other indie jokes can't. And AEW, the hottest new thing, can't touch me. I'm saying it's exactly a sleazeball move because Vince McMahon, with the relationship that WWE has with USA, and now the relationship that WWE has with Fox, they could have picked any other day, any other time slot, probably either one of those two networks. And I'm willing to bet that either one of those two networks would have worked with them, said, you know what? Name your slot that you want. We will do everything we can to make it work. But I'm willing to bet that it wasn't, all right, coming from USA to Vince McMahon. Well, Vince, if you want this on USA, the only option available to you is Wednesday night starting at 8 p.m. in a 2-hour time. Only thing we can give you. I guarantee you it wasn't that. So, yes, I think this is a sleazeball move so that Vince McMahon can pull his dick out and say, look at me, I'm the best, you can't touch me, nobody can.
I gotta say, I think it's a little bit of both, honestly. I think it is Vince doing business because, as we know, business isn't always morally right and morally just. So a lot of times when people do quote unquote business, they do some slimy and sleazeball things. So it's honestly, it's both in my opinion. I think because NXT was already on Wednesday nights regardless. Okay. So why then, if here's my question, this is kind of a counterpoint. Why did AEW have to have Wednesday nights? Was that the only thing available to them on TNT? Like, could they have had Tuesdays? Could they have had Thursdays? Because we knew, and they know that SmackDown was moving from Tuesday nights to Fridays on Fox. So there's that. So you have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday available. Now, I understand that at this time of year, there's going to be like, possibly baseball doesn't go on TNT, does it?
Baseball, yes, it does. It does.
Oh, does it?
So
Okay, I was gonna say it usually goes on TV.
Wait. TBS, but I mean, still, you're gonna have ratings kind of bleed because at that point it's gonna be playoff and World Series.
Okay, I get that, but my point was being that it's usually more on TBS than TNT. Basketball,
it's not gonna preempt anything. Yeah, no.
Basketball will be on TNT, so there'll be that. But I digress. I don't know. I don't watch basketball, so I don't know if it's usually on Tuesdays and Thursday nights or whatever. So Wednesday is the only viable option. But regardless, AEW got their spot, a spot that was already filled, at least for an hour at 8:00 by NXT. So while part of me sees Jericho's point in saying, that it's foolish for NXT to go to 2 hours because now that's, you're adding an extra hour onto the already plethora of hours of wrestling that you have in the week, and it's just too much and it's too diluted. I get that, and to a point I agree, but it always felt like that NXT would not have a problem doing a 2-hour show. Honestly, I think all the shows should be 2 hours because it doesn't feel as special to me whenever I'm watching a 3-hour pay-per-view when I get a 3-hour Monday Night Raw. Well, technically I get an hour and a half off of Hulu, but fuck them anyways. So, but you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't feel as, I think maybe that's also part of a reason why the pay-per-views don't feel as special when they're just a 3-hour pay-per-view because, well, who cares? We get a 3-hour Monday Night Raw. What's the big deal? There's no big difference. There's no big pay-per-view feel. Now I get it, and I understand that there's no way in hell that the Monday Night Raw is ever going back to a 2-hour show. But NXT, I think they could easily fill out a 2-hour slot. Do they need to? Could they have stayed at 1 hour? Like that could have been the only saving grace. Like, could they have just stayed at an hour and done that? Maybe not. I don't know. So again, it's both. It's a sleazeball thing, but it's also smart business. So I don't know. So
here's my and I will let Poot go last. I'll give you my opinion.
And I'm gonna take a piss anyways too. So go ahead. Not that I don't want to hear your opinion, but I'll go back. But I'll go back and listen to this episode as soon as it's up anyway. So
as everybody should. Anyway, here's my thing. I do think it's a low blow. Because at this juncture, AEW is not looking for competition. AEW is brand new, and this is no different than an NBA All-Star going to a high school basketball game and giving them the old Dikembe Mutombo, no, not in my house, or dunking over, a 7-foot NBA center dunking over a 5'5", high school kid. Yes, and that's a strained metaphor, I understand, because they are all professionals. But my point is that they're the heavyweights right now. They are the worldwide leader in sports entertainment. That was their tagline, in the early 90s. That's what they are. Like, this, I think, is beneath them. This is something that I don't think need to happen. To Tom's point, AEW actually trademarked Tuesday Night Dynamite, so it seemed like they were looking to fill the Tuesday night void. I think TNT said, "Here's what we're going to give you," and that's pretty much what was done. And they were like, "Okay, well, I guess that's that then."
Okay, see, I just came back and I heard that last part saying that it seemed like that's what TNT gave them was Wednesday nights. So
right, because they had applied for the trademark of Tuesday Night Dynamite.
Right.
And I mean, Tuesday night would be a smart move because of the void of viewership. Wrestling fans have 2 hours set aside every Tuesday night from 8 to 10 to watch SmackDown. Boom, you go 2 channels down, you're on TNT. So I mean, it makes a lot of sense. So I mean, I think that was probably a TNT call. But yeah, I mean, I do believe it's a low blow move by Vince. What do you think, Putin?
Legit, you and Tom echoed literally every point I was gonna make. Like, to me, it seemed like AEW, going into whenever they were going to have their programming, they were like, oh, we'll fill Tuesday nights because there's the void. So they applied for that trademark, and they were like, this is what's going to happen. And it was whenever they went, yeah, no, it's not how that works. You're going to go here. Because I think maybe the network was like, oh, we'll counter program AEW on WWE Network. And then Vince went, well, fuck that. We're just going to have it live on USA. Like, so, excuse me. I went a little ham there.
Your Vince was showing.
It did.
Never go full Vince.
Hold on. All right. So
there you go. I don't get that noise because I have bottles.
Well, you know, I decided to slum it tonight. It's all good. So basically, you guys echoed my point. I think it's business, and from working in different industries, I've worked in retail. I've done warehouse stuff. I've worked.
Would you say you're worldly traveled?
Oh well, job wise, I've run the gamut. So, and like working in radio, like business is business. And like, that's why, like I've told my bosses numerous times, I said, I could never own a business. I use this term, like a traditional business. Like if I ever actually did get like a guitar building, like small, just me in a workshop, like thing going, and I actually had it be my job, and that's what I did, and I had to self-regulate and do everything myself, I think I would do better there, because then it's just me, and it's me doing my thing, and I'm not going to worry about anyone else. I'm just going to do my thing. But if I was in the situation that, like, where there's, like, you have to consider these larger things, and you have to make these big calls, at a certain point, like, the moral high ground is an anthill. You know what I mean? Like, you might be taking the moral high ground, but literally in average everyday life, it's the shitty thing to do. So, I mean, it is business, and business is ugly sometimes. It really is. And that's just the nature of the beast. It's ugly. And there are people who who vary with a lot of resistance, go, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But then there are people like Vince McMahon who will do everything tooth and nail to keep their fiefdom. And it is what it is. It's not good. I think it is a dirtbag move. But I think the problem, the genesis was AEW was like, oh, we'll have Tuesday nights. Network said, no, you're having Wednesday nights. Coincidentally, it's whenever, well, to be fair, they said it was... To be fair. They said... Old man Ransom's at it again.
He sounded like something out of like Ghost and Goblins. He's like...
Or the zombie things that you kill in... Symphony of the Night. Ooh!
Oh yeah,
those. Anyway, wow, that was pretty accurate. Anyway, so my point is, I think it was just a lot of things that coalesced into this situation. I don't think AEW wanted to pick this fight, but it just happened that way. So it is what it is.
Well, we did say a while back that AEW had to be prepared for WWE to counter program because WWE has the ability. And here we are. So I mean, it shouldn't be as much of a surprise.
No.
But I will say, on the bright side of this, regardless with NXT, I'm happy that it's staying. I'm happy that it's staying on USA and not going to FS1, because I feel like Fox would try to get their hands way too far into things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know where I'm going with that. Like, the same thing happened. What's that?
Nothing. Never mind. No politics on this podcast.
Oh, okay. All I was gonna say was, look what happened whenever Raw went off of USA there for a while, and it was on TNN. Like,
oh, they have pop.
Well, so the one final point that I'll point out here is that Jericho made a comment about that sounded very aggressive, and again, he kind of backtracked off of it, but Jericho, of all people, has to realize that his actions are speaking 100% louder than words. he was forever in Vince's pocket. He was, he would say that forever. He would not work another show in the continental United States. He'd work New Japan. That's fine because it's not a rival to Vince. Because Vince was always very good to him for years and years and years. Let him come and go as he pleased. And anytime Chris Jericho came back, it was a marquee fucking matchup. It's not like he showed up and, speared someone in 2 seconds. It was gone. No, it was always a big match. It was a big deal when
I
he
almost
came
had
back.
a mini stroke there. Careful.
You're welcome. But the thing is that Jericho had to know that just by dint of him being one of the greatest of all time, and I will say that in all reality.
Oh, yeah,
Jumping
absolutely.
ship to AEW had to have consequences and had to have some shockwaves. So, I mean, even though he's saying all the right things, he had to know that this was coming.
I agree with that. Real quick.
Hold on. I want to ask you a question off of that.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
So, Beef, in your opinion, if AEW had done everything that AEW has done since its inception to today, if they had done all of that minus Chris Jericho, do you think it would be a different story?
Ooh.
I do, because I don't think, and this is hurting me to say, because I love Chris Jericho. I do. He is one of my favorite of all time, but I think he's probably one of my lowest favorite in NAW right now. But that being said, he's the reason that they're getting all this publicity. He's the reason why they're getting all this airtime. He's the reason. I can keep saying that. Omega and the Bucks have done a lot of great things overseas, but that's just it. It's overseas or in like Raw or independent shows that nobody's watching.
Well,
Jericho he's getting the casual fan.
Jericho has quote unquote main evented. Well, and actually main evented WrestleManias. Jericho has won titles. He's, my God, all the titles he's won. So without Jericho moving to AEW, I don't know that there's an AEW show. And if there is, I don't know that it shows up on TNT.
So there's your thank you, Jericho. Beef the Legend.
There's your thank you, Jericho. Yeah,
no,
100%.
I'll give you this. Yes, to piggyback off of that, I agree. I think it would have been a little bit of a different story because there's a lot of different pieces coming together. You have the business mind of Tony. You have the wrestling IQ of Cody and Jericho, and not to take anything away from the Bucks or Omega. You have all those wrestling minds there, but then you have the Bucks who are awesome at marketing themselves. Look at all the merchandise and stuff that they've been able to do, and all the marketing that they've done themselves while they were in New Japan and while they were on Ring of Honor and stuff like that. So they've got a great mind for that. And when you have this melting pot of all these great pieces coming together.
Not to mention the phenomenal talent of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, who are the best in the world at what they do. But go on.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you have all these different little elements that all come together. But the big thing is, when you're gonna go big in the States, okay, you have to have that big star power, and not to take anything away from Omega and the Bucks because they're great. I love watching them. I loved watching the in-ring stuff with Omega because that's since the AEW pay-per-views, that's the first I've really gotten to see him. I never really got to watch any New Japan stuff. The first New Japan thing I watched was Dominion, So, but having that name like Jericho, who has been all over the world, who has predominantly been a WWE guy and brings that name power, over to overseas to New Japan, and then now that translates back into AEW. Like it's a big friggin' deal. Whether I know that they're using that as an angle, but that's part of the best angles is whenever art imitates life in a lot of cases. So I agree with Beef. I think it would have been definitely a different story had Jericho not been on board.
So do you think there would be no AEW at all? Or do you think there would be no AEW weekly television
had it not been
for Jericho?
I think it would be there, but it would be more of an uphill battle.
Exactly.
Yes.
It may not be on TNT. It may be on something like NFS1 that not everybody gets. But with
And
there's
no Wednesday Night War. You're thinking there's no Wednesday Night War if Chris Jericho hadn't gone to AEW.
Probably,
Wow.
I'm going to say probably not a Wednesday Night War, but let's not take away anything from Tony Khan, because Tony Khan is a good businessman too, and he's got Vince McMahon money and then some, right? So
he does.
So,
but I mean, without Jericho, you don't have a marquee. And yes, I understand you have Moxley, but he's not a big enough. He's not a Hall of Famer.
But he's more. Now Jericho has remained very, very current and very savvy with what fans want and has adapted his character as such. But Moxley's more current, man, and people love seeing, whitewashed WWE Dean Ambrose have this epic transformation into the monster that is Jon Moxley.
Yep,
so people would tune in for that. I don't think they would grab as much of the casual fan who doesn't know who Jon Moxley is or his past, but it would still bring enough eyes that people would go, holy shit, this is crazy. You got to watch this, and it would spread. It just wouldn't spread as quick.
I agree with that.
But so I'll tell you guys what. We've been surprisingly man, I'm getting the ransom burps like crazy.
Yeah, baby.
We are we're not getting super long in the tooth, but we're going along. Why don't we thank the sponsors and see if we can do a little hot take trivia?
I like that idea.
I definitely gotta say this has been a great discussion, and I mean I think honestly we're all winners here. So I mean not us, we're probably most of us losers.
Damn.
But I think wrestling fans are all winners. So the sponsors, right? We definitely want to thank Sean Tischler and everything that he has put in for us and putting our name out there, and we can't give him enough kudos for that, and we want you to go and check out the Facebook page for IWC Clearfield X. Get your tickets now. They are on sale. Sean Tischler has them. There are 3 tiers. There's the VIP package. There's guaranteed front row, and then there's general admission. There's go talk to him. Get those tickets. It's going to be a show. I've seen a couple IWC events in Clearfield, and they've never disappointed. So. Go check him out. And then obviously we definitely want to thank the man himself, Casual Gaming Dad, for everything that he has done for our podcast with giving us a lot of exposure with his listeners and his viewers.
Uppercuts!
And making sure that they are, not make sure that they are, but, giving our name to his listeners, who we've actually pulled quite a few over. And I love seeing those names pop up on our live chats and everything. So, keep listening, keep following. Make sure you check him out on Facebook, like him, follow him, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch, keep on keeping on with the Casual Gaming Dad side of things. I saw him playing some Legend of Zelda the other night, so that's always exciting. So.
Do we?
Yes.
Do we have a Stoomp the Choomps?
Not the last I checked. I'll check right now.
Yeah, check.
Well, while Beef is checking, I will say. You almost went full Triple H there. You're like, we would like to thank you, Sean Tischler.
Gaming Dad.
But I gotta say that if any of our listeners are up in the Clearfield, Pennsylvania area on October the 12th for the IWC event, chances are you'll probably see us. Front row VIP, so as long as somebody makes sure to contact Mr. Tischler to get our tickets, Beef.
So we can show up and be a bunch of jackasses.
You come hang out with us.
Yeah, feel free to chat us up. We are, as you can hear, all very eloquent people, clearly.
I a lot.
Chat us up, talk to us. We love talking to wrestling fans.
Well, minus Ransom. He might tell you. Minus Ransom. Ransom. Yeah, you gotta ask us permission. Like you have to be like, it's like whenever you walk up and pet a stranger's dog, you're like, does he bite? Like, is he okay? We'll let you know.
You walk up to him and you just say, "Oh, hey, you're Alec Ransom." He goes, "No."
We will be selling. We will have Alec Ransom Polaroids on sale for $10. If you want a signature, you can guess how much that's going to be.
$49.99. You idiots.
You assholes.
You idiots.
I love it. Oh shit.
I really just want to get a shirt made for the IWC event in Clearfield. I just want it to be a black shirt with white writing, and all it says on the front is "You idiots."
Nice.
That's it. That's all I
dude.
wanted to say. I just wanted to say "You idiots."
I'm sure we can make that happen.
Oh,
What
look
size?
at that fat bastard.
Ransom.
That's Alec Ransom.
Ransom. What size T-shirt do you wear?
That's a double XL for this fat man.
Double XL. Okay, cool. Noted. All right. So, do we have a Stump the Chumps?
We do not. The Maniac. It's summertime, so the Maniac may be on vacation. We don't know, and he's the only one that ever sends us anything. You idiots.
Where should they send it to?
Yourmother.com.
Nope, that's not it at all. They should send it to Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast at gmail.com, and I will promptly give them a thumbs up. Probably not, but I will actually at least read it. So yeah, send it.
Yo, my buddy Drake Braddock and his partner in military intelligence. They just won the
Brad Maddox.
You done? They just won the Rise Wrestling Tag Team Championships.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Oh, Rise, nice man.
So real quick, I'm going to put this out there and kind of put the three of you on the spot. So if you remember, a little while back, I talked about somebody who came into one of my Mario Maker streams and said that he used to be a wrestler himself, and he also has a buddy who wrestles. I want to say might even be in Canada or something.
Oh.
Let me find the guys.
Well, while he's doing that, Beef, why don't you determine the order here?
Yeah, do that.
Why am I always in charge of things? So, Poots, wait, Ransom's asking me.
Heavy is the chin that sucks the dick. Do it.
Apparently. I will ask Poot. Poot can ask Tom. Tom can ask Ransom.
Okay, so I'm asking Ransom. Good. If anybody has heard of Cody Deaner, that's Deaner.
No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna possibly reach out. No, I'm gonna possibly reach out to this man and see if he might be willing, because he is a current wrestler. Even if it's indie or not, I think it would be pretty cool to possibly have a wrestler on for an interview segment at some point, or just to shoot the shit for a little bit at some point. But
I'll reach out to Braddock.
There you go.
I know tons of indie guys as well. True Talent, Mr. Bobby Shields himself, as well as Kato,
all right,
who
Bobby.
runs
Go get
Imagine
him,
Wrestling
Bobbo.
over there in Altoona.
Yeah,
and
Bobby.
like I said, I have an in.
Go, Bobbo.
One of my brother-in-law.
Yeah, Bobby.
You done?
My brother-in-law knows.
Go
My
get him,
brother-in-law
Bobbo.
knows one of the guys who helped train Britt Baker, so I think that would be a great that'd be a great interview as well.
Yeah,
so
Bobby.
we can maybe start lining these up if
Go get him,
we get
Bobbo.
some more people listening. So
God
yeah,
damn
definitely.
it. Hey, Pooh, you need to talk to your pops about that in with Britt Baker as well. Too.
Yeah. I asked him about it. I said, "Hey, do you know his friend?" And he goes, "What?" And I said, "Okay, that's where that strain ends."
Hey, do you need a lamp?
Hey, do you need a sewing machine? Oh, by the way, dum-dums, seriously, be ready to leave with things.
Oh, Jesus.
Not even kidding.
Hey, the only thing I want or need is a blender. So
We got it.
Okay, cool. I'll
He got it.
All right, so
All right,
who wants
let's do the stupid trivia, right?
who wants to kick off?
I don't even
I'll
care.
go. I'll go first.
Oh,
Who
boy.
am I asking? I'm asking Poot. Poot,
Yup.
this is an easy one. It's a super big softball because
All
I
right.
always forget about these till the last minute. So we have talked a lot about NXT tonight and their pending debut for TNT.
Yep.
What I would like to know.
Wait, what?
USAA? USA is where they're debuting.
USAA? Is that the Canadian version of USA?
You know, I
Hey?
work with insurance. I work with insurance, so I talk a lot more about USAA than I do USA. So I apologize. Anyway,
That's okay.
so we are talking
Not
about
accepted.
NXT. Okay, fair enough. Talking about NXT debuting on USA,
Right.
not TNT nor USAA. Talking about NXT debuts, I want you to tell me the first main event at an NXT takeover who was in it, and what title was involved, and who won.
Wow.
Wait, so the first main event at the first takeover?
Correct.
What? Okay, so you want the first takeover and the first main event of the first takeover?
Correct. Who was involved? What belt was involved, and who won?
Okay.
I always feel like Poot's looking up answers because he's always repeating the question.
Yeah, right.
It's because Beef always asks big, dumb, complicated questions, and
that's not complicated. First takeover, first main event. What do you got?
It was okay. I remember. It was. I think it was in.
I was about to do the same thing.
Yes, me too, man.
I think it was in 2015, and it was just NXT Takeover. And it was obviously for the NXT Championship because that had to happen. I think it was Neville because he was champion versus Sami Zayn.
God damn it, Ransom! I hear him back there.
Yeah, I don't know what he's bee-boo-bee-booing about back there, but
he's humming September, man.
He is.
Oh, okay. I think it was. I think it was. Wait, no, it was 2014. It was 2014. I don't remember the month, but it was Adrian Neville and I think Sami Zayn for the championship.
Can I take a crack if he's wrong?
You may take a crack, Tiger Bomb Tom.
I'm gonna say it was.
We should just have this be open, like people just ask questions because that's what it devolves into every time.
Well, no, only if somebody's wrong.
All right. And which he is. Which Poot is wrong, so go ahead.
You're wrong. I'm going to say Seth Rollins was involved, and I'm going to say it was Seth Rollins, and I don't know who he would have beaten, but it would have been Seth Rollins for the NXT, winning the NXT championship. I just can't get the other competitors, so if somebody else can pop in with that. Beef?
Yeah, because wasn't Seth Rollins the first NXT champion? So wouldn't he have been the first?
But Takeover
was that not a Takeover?
Right, Takeover didn't start until well after Seth Rollins.
Fuck me. Okay, well then I'm way off.
Ransom, would you like to take a stab at it?
No.
No.
I honestly thought this was. I honestly thought this was a softball. It was Adrian Neville defending the title against Tyson Kidd.
Oh,
and Adrian Neville defended.
Oh, wow.
What was it 2014?
It was 2014. You got it. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so close.
You know what? Because wasn't that also like, I'm trying to remember when the network actually launched, because wasn't that one of the big things, like that was like one of the first things that they announced was NXT coming to the network then?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. All
right. Well, it's my turn. Not Ransom. Tom.
Yes.
All right, you ready for this?
Yes.
You dug your own grave on this one. So
that's okay.
So Jerry Lawler, he was quite the Memphis legend, and the reason I do this is because he was attacked by the Fiend this past week on Raw, as is the Fiend's wont.
Yes.
Jerry Lawler, legend before he showed up in WWF, right?
Okay.
And basically ruled the Memphis territory. I want you to give me all the current members of Los Ingobernables de Japón, and I want you to give me the 3 part-time members. One is a part-time member that's current. The other 2 are former part-time members. So all 6 current members, 1 part-time member who's current, and then the other 2 who are former part-timers.
Never even heard of them, so my answer is Andy Kaufman. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted to not give this question to anybody but Beef, because I knew that's what was going to happen.
Okay. So, so we are talking about Los Ingobernables.
Los Ingobernables de Japón.
Who the fuck are they?
De Japón, right? Not de La Mexico, but
no, de Japón.
Okay. So
who do they wrestle for?
They're the ungovernables of Japan. That's what it translates to.
New Japan. So Bushi.
Yep.
I can't.
Nailed it.
Why can't I think of the Dragon's name? He had a great G1 and a great Best of Super Juniors. He was in the finals with Will Ospreay. Shingo Takagi.
Yep. That's 2.
Evil.
That's 3. You're halfway there on the current members.
Sanada.
That's
My favorite.
4.
Tetsuya Naito.
That's 5.
And Hiromu Takahashi.
That's all 6 of the current. Now give me the current part-timer.
Current part-timer in LIJ. I don't think it's Shibata, but they kept cutting to him during the G1.
It's a Ciabatta.
Ooh,
Not Shibata.
it's a ciabatta.
It's the Hyundai Sonata.
You know
Stop
what?
it, Andy Kaufman.
I won't even hazard a guess at the part-time members, man. I honestly have no
So
clue.
you were right. It's Bushi, Evil, Hiromu Takahashi, Sonata, Shingo Tagaki, and Tetsuya Naito. Congratulations. Naito has been
Yeah,
the
those
leader.
guys. Yeah,
By
we
the way,
hang out all the
Naito has been the leader the entire time of LIJ's existence. The part-timer current is Roosh.
Oh, I didn't know Roosh was a member of LIJ.
Yeah,
That's
well,
awesome.
I think he was involved with Los Ingobernables de Mexico. So
That makes sense.
so Roosh. And then the former part-timers, ready for this? Jay Lethal
Oh.
and Truth Martini. He made one appearance.
Is that like a playoff of Punishment Martinez? That's interesting. Truth Martini.
Yeah, Truth Martini.
I'll have to.
Is Truth Martini in or was in ROH as well?
Truth Martini. Let me look.
Was he like
Yeah,
a
he
little
tagged.
ringside manager?
He probably tagged the Cheeseburger, right?
I don't even know.
I'm
that guy.
looking.
What-
yeah, he
I-
was
wasn't
in.
he-
Yeah, he was in Row.
Wasn't he like a little ringside manager in a suit? Kind of like a cheap looking suit, but a suit nonetheless, and like
No, man, you're thinking of Drake Maverick.
No. And I'm like he had like long hair, kind of a rat face.
And a rat face.
Listen, quit
I don't
looking
know.
in the mirror and move on to your question.
I don't.
Oh.
Fuck you!
Aw,
Wow.
I love you, Tom. I love you, Tom.
You're lucky you aren't closer. I'd chuck my beer bottle at you.
Do it. You got
anyways,
you're big, strong boy. Throw it from there.
I might have to. All right, so you still got your question to beef regardless, even though because I couldn't fucking answer it. Ransom, you might have a little bit of an easier one, maybe not. So we got next week. We'll be doing predictions for NXT Cardiff, and the NXT UK Cardiff show will be next Saturday. Is that right? Yeah,
Yep, next Saturday at 1:30.
I don't know what time it starts. We got to figure that out. Anyways.
Preceded by Royal Quest, which is NJPW at 9:30 a.m.
Yeah,
And
he won't care about that.
postseated
won't care
by
about
the
that.
Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast live show, which is then followed by AEW All Out. What a day. Go ahead.
Correct. So my question to you, Ransom, is not about the current women's champion. It was about the first NXT UK women's champion, Rhea Ripley. I want you to tell me how long her championship reign lasted. How many days?
Sure.
Take a guess.
Um,
Go with the
32.
nerd answer. 42.
32. I don't know. I have no idea who she is.
Or six. Oh man, Rhea Ripley. Love me some Rhea Ripley.
I think he'd like Rhea Ripley.
Yeah,
I think you would
you'll
too.
like her. She's
Yeah,
pretty badass. But take it.
I've never watched her. I don't know. 32. I don't know.
Okay, that's your answer. You're wrong. Poot, you want to take a guess?
I'm gonna go with 94.
Okay, Beef, you want to take a guess? I'm not saying if you're right or wrong yet.
So she lost it at January. She lost it in January at the Takeover Blackpool.
Don't.
No, I'm because I honestly I didn't even watch Takeover Blackpool, but I know that's where she lost it to Tony Storm.
Correct.
I think they
because
crowned it-
that was the answer to last week's question for me. So
Right. But I
see,
think
it all comes around. Call back.
I'm trying to think when they crowned it. Like the inaugural tournament was like last September, and that was for the NXT like a heavyweight championship. So it was probably in October, I will say. And I would say, what is that? November, December. So about 2.5 months. So I will go 75 days.
Okay, well, you guys are all way under the mark. 139 days.
Wow.
Rhea Ripley was your
Wow.
reigning, defending, undisputed NXT inaugural UK Women's Champion.
Well, I'll take that victory. I was closest. All right. I can't wait to hear Ransom's question.
All right, well, old Queef the Legend here. He loved himself some
Bequeath.
WWE and some WWE championships. So this is a two-parter.
As
Not really related, except that it has to do with the WWE championship. This encompasses the WWF championship all the way up until the current WWE championship. Not the World Heavyweight title, not the Universal title.
Okay.
So Universal World Heavyweight not in the mix. WWF championship to current WWE championship. There have been a number of customized titles for certain champions. Tell me each of the champions who had a customized title.
Ooh.
Are we talking about the color of the strap being customized, or like the actual title itself?
The actual title itself.
Okay.
So not counting, black, white, yellow.
Right, because
blah, blah,
Warrior,
whatever.
Warrior had a yellow belt. I didn't know if that counted. Okay.
Nope.
So, obviously, Austin's Smoking Skull belt goes to the top of the list. So there's that. I know Rock had a belt that had like a brown bull on it, but it was he never actually used it. It was just sold as a prop for kids and stupid marks who buy shit at shows. Guilty. So there's that. Which I need to bring that fucker out. Anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say you picked the foam United States title as P3 podcast title instead of the Brahma Bull one. Come on.
You would think that a guy named Beef would use the belt that had the picture of the fucking bull on it, but here we are.
That some bitch, by the way, has been hanging from my rearview mirror ever since I left Pittsburgh.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Good Lord.
Yes.
Proud of you.
I can't wait to take it and spray paint that son of a bitch.
So Austin, obviously Smoking Skull. Cena, obviously Spinner title. Edge, with the Edge Spinner title. That's 3. So are we looking for a number, or you want like names and everything associated with them?
I want you to name them. Name of the champion.
Yeah. So Austin, Smoking Skull, Edge, Spinner with the Edge logo, Cena with the Spinner. I think. Did The Miz have a title with the upside down W on it? I don't know if he did or not, because his title run was super fucking short. I'm gonna say no. Just not. I don't think it's something they would have done back in the day. Hogan definitely didn't have one. Hart definitely didn't have one. Michaels didn't. Taker didn't. I can't think of anything since then, and I think I might be missing a really important one.
Just popped into my head.
Nobody talk about it.
Well, I was going to say how awesome Bray Wyatt's custom belt would be.
Right? Oh, that would be amazing. And this is just WWF. WWF, WWE. We're not talking about Impact or anything, right? Because Hardy had a stupid fucking belt. Okay.
Yep. Nope, not them. They don't matter.
They ain't that the case. Boy, I'm struggling to come up with one of those 3. And I'm sure that there were more than that.
Well, you got The Rock, too. That was right.
Okay, so you are accepting. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He never actually wore the title, but they definitely mass produced it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll just say the 4 of them then: Austin, The Rock, Edge, and Cena. Oh, I'm fucking waffling on the Miz though, because I.
Can I throw in if he doesn't?
No.
I'm just gonna go with those 4.
Well, all right. Poot.
Let me throw one in there that he probably forgot about. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't count. No, it doesn't count. Never mind. Go on.
Tom?
I can't think of anybody besides that. And I want to say, while you're waffling on the Miz, I don't think he had his own custom title. I think if he did anything, he probably took the spinner title and then just stopped the spinner upside down to make the W make an M. So I don't have anything else to add on to that, Ransom. Go ahead. I'm sure there's got to be at least one that we don't know about.
There are, let's see, there are 3 that you didn't get.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
2 that I'm not surprised, 1 that I'm shocked. The one that I'm shocked about is Daniel Bryan's hemp.
Oh, the hemp belt.
Oh, fucking Christ.
How the hell did you forget about that beef?
That is by the way.
With you being such a big Daniel Bryan mark, I have no idea.
Guy who makes the WWE belts is based out of Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
Fast count trivia. So the other 2 were Andre the Giant. He had a custom title created for him before WrestleMania 3, although he never wore it as a champion, but he had it created.
It was on display.
It
was on display in interviews. That's right.
And then also Hogan in '86 had a custom belt made that had his actual picture of his face on the belt.
It was ugly.
It was ugly.
It was ugly as fuck.
Wow.
It was a very, very short-lived design, but he did have a belt. If you Google Hogan '86 WWE title, it is the stupidest looking thing ever because it has his dumb mustache face.
Hold on a second.
On the fucking belt.
Super ugly.
I gotta see this. I'm looking at Google Images. You said
uglier
Hogan,
than the AEW title belt.
Hogan 86.
I love that belt.
Hogan 86 belt. Here we go. Where's it at? Where's his dumb mustache face? I don't see it yet. Hold on. I see him with a belt, but not with his stupid mustache face.
Oh no! God,
oh no! Oh, it's so ugly. Oh God! I want to spontaneously vomit.
It's so
shit
tiny.
Yeah, stupid ass looking belt.
Still.
Okay, and then the second part of this question. Second part of this question also has to do with the inception of the WWF title to current WWE title. How many times has that belt been vacated? How many times has there been a vacant WWE, WWF, WWF championship belt?
Okay,
just want a number.
So for sure, before WrestleMania 4, because that's what the whole fucking tournament was, and that's whenever Andre sold it to DiBiase and they vacated it then. For sure, after Punk took it, because technically, I mean, was that technically being vacated? I guess it was, because they had a tournament for it. Okay.
Yep.
So there's that.
There's one that already jumped to my mind, and if Beef doesn't get it, I'm sure Ransom's gonna shit his pants.
Undertaker had to vacate it at one point due to injury, and I think Edge got the belt at that. No, he didn't vacate it. He lost it to Edge because that should have been Kennedy's belt. So I'll take that back. So those two.
But was that the WWF or was that the world title?
That's a good question. Moot point, because I don't think it actually happened. I think it was WWF. Deadly Games tournament was for was for that title. So that was 98. So that was 3. Titles been vacated. I feel like there's been one in more recent memory that I'm really missing, and I feel like a dummy for it.
There's a big one you're missing right now. I'm trying to help him, Ransom. I'm trying.
Daniel Bryan vacated it with injury.
This makes me smile.
Oh, come on.
Hold on. Take it easy.
For fuck's sake. Ransom.
Makes you smile. What the?
Come on.
Now I feel like a real dummy.
I'm driving to your residence to beat your ass right now for this.
Tom, we'll do that. We'll do that before we go to Ransom's next weekend. We'll just beat the shit out of Beef.
All right, so if you're looking for a number, I'm gonna say 6.
Okay, can I put this out there real quick? Beef.
Go ahead.
How the fuck did you forget about when Michaels lost his smile?
Oh my goodness.
Because you're the worst, Beef.
Because I'm a Bret Hart fan. You're 100% correct.
Oh, you fucking turd. I hope I didn't wake my neighbors up with that. I'm sorry, guys.
You woke the dead. Percy Pringle's going to knock on your door.
Wasn't there one during the 92 Rumble? Not when Flair won the Rumble?
Sure it was. Yep, that was one too. So it's probably closer to 8 then.
Tom or Pooh, you want to hazard a guess? I'm not saying if Beef's right or wrong.
I'll just round.
Or if you have a different.
I'll round up and go to 10.
Let me think. Flair, Andre won, Michaels. Feel like Stone Cold had to vacate it. I don't think Daniel Bryan vacated the heavyweight championship. I feel like he vacated the Intercontinental title. But
I think both actually. Believe it or not.
I don't know. I'll go with Poot on this, and I'll say 10.
You're all under.
Wow.
Huh.
It's been vacated or vacant a total of 13 times.
Wow.
Okay.
Enlighten us if you have it in front of you. If not, well, that's fine too.
Oh my gosh, a lot of them I've never heard of. Okay, here we go. December 1979 at a house show, Antonio Inoki.
Oh yeah,
Antonio
Inoki. Okay.
October 19th of 81, due to Greg Valentine being awarded the title by a stunned referee, despite Backlund winning the match, WWE acknowledged the incident and vacated the title. February 13th, 1988, Superstars of Wrestling, WWF President Jack Tunney refused to recognize Ted DiBiase as champion and vacated the title.
That was
December 4th, 1991, Superstars of Wrestling, Hogan was stripped of the title by Jack Tunney.
Which was the Royal Rumble.
February 13th, 97, Raw. Michaels forfeited it due to smile.
Yep.
September 27th, 1998, Breakdown in Your House. Title was vacated after Kane and The Undertaker simultaneously pinned Stone Cold.
Oh.
September 20th, 99, Raw. Vince McMahon vacated the title due to fully loaded stipulation after losing his feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let's see. October 27th, ECW. Title was vacated when John Cena suffered a right torn pectoral. June 9th, 2009. Title was vacated when Batista suffered a torn left bicep. July 18th, 2001, Raw. Title was vacated due to CM Punk leaving WWE. September 16th, 2013, Raw. Title was vacated after a controversial finish when Daniel Bryan defeated Randy Orton. June 9th, 2014, Raw. Daniel Bryan was stripped of the title due to a neck injury. And finally, November 4th, 2015, title was vacated after Seth Rollins suffered a torn ACL.
Oh, there was that one.
I forgot all about the Seth Rollins one, yeah.
Yeah, there was that one we forgot about.
Wow, what a question. All right,
that was a good one, man.
I hate to be the buzzkill, guys, but we are getting long in the actual tooth this time, so why don't we thank the sponsors and get the actual fuck out of here.
We definitely want to thank Sean Tischler and his work with all of the independent wrestling promotions that he works with in the area, but especially went directly to the IWC page for IWC X, Clearfoot X, excuse me. You can get the tickets, I believe, on the IWC website, or you can get them through the Facebook page. In communication with Sean Tischler, again, he's kind of the Johnny on the spot with that. Again, they have tiers available, some great packages. So yeah, don't miss a chance to support the local indies and go see someone who you may see in a couple years. And as well, we definitely want to thank the casual gaming dad himself, Tom. Tiger Bomb Tom. I almost had a kayfabe break there. Very close.
You did.
Very, very close. So we do want to thank Tiger Bomb Tom for his work that he does with the Casual Gaming Dad's Corner and the support that he has given us and sending us some wonderful viewers his way. We appreciate you guys that are coming over. Tell your friends. We would love to have you guys. But yeah, we definitely want to thank both of Ians for everything you've done for us.
Yeah.
Yinzers.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep.
So, This was a great podcast. A lot of informative things, really good questions. I'm looking forward to our next one with predictions. It's going to be really good. So, for Beef the Legend, Tiger Bomb Tom, Alec Ransom, my wonderful advocate, and myself, the reigning, defending, undisputed, Cruiserweight champion, Poot the Bard, baby. Have a wonderful evening, motherfuckers.